Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the Sun, square, or opposition, the Ascendant, and a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have the Sun square or opposite the Ascendant in a natal chart, there may be difficulty in focusing, which is the Sun, on new beginnings, on new projects and endeavors, which is the Ascendant. Now, if you have your Ascendant in Aries, those new projects, beginnings, those new endeavors, can include firefighting, welding, carpentry, the military, doing something with volatile or combative sports. Could be speech pathology, speech therapy, I should say. Could be doing something with physiology, or something like a profession that would be related, connected with the head, such as like helmet design. If the Ascendant is in Taurus, is another example of those new beginnings. May include like carpet laying, geology, doing work as a pawnbroker or stockbroker, finance, banking, agriculture, as some examples. Now, another thing is that the true self and the is the Sun and the outer self being the Ascendant. This is what could be in conflict. And the thing is, you may often feel like misconstrued by others, because of this. It's like if you have, the Sun in Leo, say, and the Ascendant in Aquarius. The Sun, in Leo can be about, a little bit, about attention seeking. Aquarius rising projects more unobtrusive side, and you may feel that there's a little bit misunderstanding, that you may be a little bit more attention seeking. You want the attention than what you're actually projecting. What your true self is in strong contrast to the outer self, the Ascendant, the astrological mask. It could also be where you have take even the zodiac sign Cancer and Capricorn as an example. If the Sun is in Cancer, say, and the Ascendant is in Capricorn, you could have the opposition aspect. The true self could be one that's very nurturing, caring, sympathetic, but the outer self, the Ascendant in Capricorn, may be one that projects a little colder, even undemonstrative side, so there would be a lot of misunderstanding there. Another thing is that if you have one of these aspects in your natal chart, you may often not be, overly conscious or cognizant, which is the Sun, of, what you really need, what you're projecting to others. It doesn't mean you're not projecting, the Ascendant qualities, because that's very dominant in the chart. We'd be projecting them, but it's just not as much awareness maybe of it. Now, if you have, like, say, the Ascendant in Gemini, that side you may be projecting to others can be one that's very loquacious, mercurial, talkative, even contradictory, vivacious, animated, versatile, multifaceted side. Another thing, too, is that the issue, if there's any issues, say, with your appearance in the physical body, which is the Ascendant, may have more of an adverse effect on the ego, which is the Sun. Let's say if the Ascendant is in Virgo, there may be issues. If there's something with the appearance where you don't feel like you're always meticulously dressed the way you want, or if there's some issue with the physical body, such as something with, there's abdominal issue that you're going through, that you're having trouble with, or something with the spleen is another example, intestinal issue. And if you're having trouble, dealing with it or trying to conquer it, it may have more of an effect on the ego. If the ascendant, say, is in Sagittarius, it might be like, say, a heavy appearance that might be more of an adverse effect on your ego, more so than in most cases. Now, another thing about these aspects is that you have to guard against becoming, across as overly arrogant or conceited to others, because when you have one of these aspects, it may bring out, like the negative qualities that are associated just with what the sun is connected with in general. And the thing is, it's okay to have a lot of confidence and, be confident about things, have self-assuredness, but being, overly boastful or arrogant can be another story entirely. Now, another thing about these aspects is that, people prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, which is the ascendant, may have more of an adverse effect on your life, which is the sun, more so than in most instances. Now, let's say if the sun is in Aquarius, that could be a life where a lot of altruism, selflessness, humanitarianism it could be expressed, even innovation, doing things for the collective good of many. It could be something environmental that one may be doing, as some examples. Now, another thing about if you have the sun square or opposite the ascendant in a natal chart, another way it may be expressed is that it could be, the strong disparity, again, between the true self, which is the sun, and that projection of self, the outer self, which of course is the ascendant. If you have, say, the sun, say the sun is in Pisces and the ascendant is in Virgo, naturally you would have a very strong disparity in the outer self compared to the inner self. The inner self, Pisces, can be really sensitive and emotional, very impressionable to the environment, and focuses a lot on their intuitive ability. But the Virgo rising is more, analytical, outwardly more detail oriented, in contrast to seeing the overall picture. What Pisces does, Virgo is about analyzing things, in contrast to intuition. So you would have very strong disparity in that example. And another thing too about these aspects is that the biological father in dominant males, which is the sun, may not be, compatible, with that side that you easily or naturally express, which is the ascendant. If the ascendant, is in Libra, could be a side, that's very, positively, looking at it positively, Libra can express, rising can express a lot of charming, tactful, diplomatic, cooperative, peaceful qualities. But there may be something about it where, there's some kind of ambivalence, or something else negative connected with Libra rising that these people may not, be, really be going with, maybe too eager to compromise, as another example. Things about, Libra rising where the dominant, males and the biological father may not be in agreement with. Now, another thing too, people that have these aspects may give that impression, of being, could be overly bombastic or domineering, because again, when you have this aspect, it can bring out, the negative qualities that are connected just with the sun, the planet sun in general. And it could be too, there may be a lacking of some kind of drive and motivation, which is the sun, to make that good, first impression, on others. If the ascendant is in Leo, it might be an impression of being gregarious, or confident, extroverted, having a very sunny outer disposition, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.